G'day guys! We've all heard the phrase, the rich get richer and the poor stay poor. What I want to do today is talk to you about how that same principle applies to Warhammer 40k results and why it is that you'll notice that people who win games consistently win games and those who struggle to win games consistently struggle to win games. I want to break open the lid on this and talk about ways that you can flip that dynamic so that you're one of those players that consistently wins games. So this is going to be some general tournament advice that I hope you enjoy. Let's get into the video.
Look for the blood god.
G'day guys, we've all heard the phrase, the rich get richer and the poor stay poor. And basically what I want to do today is talk about how in 40k there seems to be a phenomenon where the good players get better and the bad players, or the players that struggle to achieve tournament results, stay bad or continue to struggle to get those tournament results. And I believe this is largely part to the Pareto distribution or the Pareto Principle, where basically, you know, it's the 80-20 rule. You know, 80% of the books are sold by 20% of the authors, 80% of the wealth is controlled by 20% of the population. You know, 80% of the mass in the universe makes up 20% of the stars in the universe. Like seems to be this like universal law that they call the Pareto Principle or the Pareto Discipline, or whatever the fuck it's called. Either way, I believe that is in play when it comes to Warhammer 40k tournament results. I think, and I'm yet to do the actual numbers on this, and I would love to see if somebody did, and maybe it's something that I'll sit down and do, but I reckon about 80% of the wins in 40k are controlled by 20% of the players. Or so it'll be close to that. And I think there's a reason for this. And I think that it's something that once you understand it and you understand the reason behind it, it's potentially something that you can use to get into that 20% and start getting those wins yourself. And what it is I think there's an element of momentum that players get when they start winning games. They build momentum, and then that momentum helps them continue to win games. And that's why you'll notice that top players continue to win over and over and over again, whereas players that struggle to get that first win or that second win will then struggle to get the third, you know? And I've noticed this myself. Like, I don't consider myself a particularly talented player. You know, I don't think there's anything special about me that helps me achieve tournament results, but I get pretty good tournament results. You know, generally speaking, I place in that top 20%. And I sometimes wonder, like, what is that? Because I'm not any smarter than anybody else. And it's not like I have some hidden knowledge that nobody else has. So often I'll look back on games and I'll be like, well, what was it that really secured me that win? What did I have that my opponent didn't have that secured me that win? And there's a number of factors, and almost all of them can be drawn back to this Pareto distribution and this principle of momentum. So one of them is confidence. I'll go into a game almost always pretty optimistic, like I can win this, right? This is a winnable game. It is possible. And as a result, I look for opportunities to win, and I'm constantly thinking, I can win this, so what do I need to do to win this? And the reason that I have that confidence and that belief in myself that I can win this is because I've won several games like it before. So therefore, I have this momentum behind me where I believe that I can win. Whereas I see a lot of players, they'll go into a matchup and they'll think, I can't win this, I'm gonna lose. And as a result, they don't try hard enough. You know, they don't really try to win. And they're not positioning themselves to look for opportunities to win because they've already sort of set their mind on a loss. Whereas thanks to the fact that I have already won some games, I then go in with that mentality of, well, there's no reason to believe that I won't continue to win games. So that's one part of this equation. Another part is, and like me and a couple of my mates, we call it star power, where sometimes people will get paired into me, and because of my tournament results in the past, they'll tell me that they know they can't win because they're up against Dean Sinbeck, right? Which I always dissuade them of that notion as fast as I can, and I tell them, man, you can easily beat me. I'm not special. There's nothing about me that's particularly special. You know, we all lose games. You can definitely be one of those people that I lose to. There's no reason that you can't be, you know? But there's that element of star power that sort of gets people like more nervous when they're versing you. They're more afraid. They assume that you're going to pull some really crazy trick, or you're going to do something particularly, you know, unpredictable that's going to get you the win instead of them. You know, when you have that star power. And that's something that is generated by winning lots of games. So again, it's another example of that momentum being built. The fact that I've won games in the past makes it easier for me to win games in the future. So that's another element to this. And then there's also another component at play here, where the more games you win, the harder opponents you go up against, generally speaking. And when you're going up against those harder opponents, you learn new skills, you learn new tricks, you learn new, you know, ways of playing the game. And then as a result, you become stronger and better as a player yourself. So the more games you win, the better you get at winning games because of that. And that becomes in itself a bit of a momentum generator. And you sort of continue to skyrocket up the placings as long as you keep at it and you keep that momentum going. So the question then becomes, how do you generate that momentum in the first place? Like, what is it that you can do in the offset to get those first couple of wins and get that momentum pumping along? And there's a few things that you can do. One of them is attend smaller tournaments, start small, and then work up to the bigger ones. If you start going straight from like, oh, I've played a few games with my brother at home and now I'm going to GTs, you're probably going to get stomped at those GTs. And it's going to be really hard for you to sort of build up that momentum when you're going against people who already have some momentum behind them. So, you know, that's one challenge. So starting small is a good way to solve that, right? Go to your local games workshop or go to your local like friendly game store, you know, and try to tee up games with, you know, newer players. Even if you're a relatively experienced player, just go there and just pick up plays with whoever and just get some wins under your belt so that you can get an understanding of the power of your units. You can get a bit of confidence behind yourself, that sort of thing. But I think the main thing that you can do really in order to build this momentum is tenacity. You've just got to keep at it. You've got to be absolutely brutal with yourself and just say, I'm going to these tournaments and I'm not quitting and I'm not giving up and I'm going to keep going until I start winning games. Because then you'll find that, you know, the losses, you can write them off. As long as you view each loss as a learning experience, you can kind of write them off and be like, yeah, it was okay that I lost that game because I learned that if I charge this unit into that unit, I don't kill it, and then it kills me. So I learned something in this game, you know. So viewing all your losses as learning experiences is massively important to this. And then really celebrating your wins. You know, when you do win games, make sure you know, sing and dance about it. Like really celebrate them, and then you'll feel that, you know, that momentum start to build. And I think that's probably all that really needs to be said on this point. I just wanted to sort of raise the thing that I've observed where top players continue to win, and this is across editions as well. Like the players that I know that were really good in 7th edition were also really good in 8th edition, also really good in 9th edition, and I guarantee you they'll still be good in 10th edition. And I know these people, and some of them are pretty stupid. Like, some of them make some really interesting life choices. And you look at them and you're like, how are you so good at 40K, but so bad at so many other things? And I think it's just that. I think it's the fact that they have that 40K momentum behind them, and that has skyrocketed them into a position where they become good. And I think that if you sort of try to get some momentum built of your own through various ways, then you'll probably end up, if you keep at it and you're tenacious and you keep trying, you'll end up in a similar position eventually, you know. Experience is also just another huge factor, right? Like, if you just keep playing and you play lots and lots of games, eventually the people that are better than you will stop playing, right? Because nobody's just going to play into infinity, right? So eventually those people will stop playing, whether it be that they've got family and kids now, so they've got other commitments, so they can't attend tournaments with the same rate they used to, or whatever. There'll be various reasons that they will drop off the tournament calendar. And when they do, then you'll become the big dog. So just sticking with that momentum and sticking with that tenacity in order to become the big dog, and then you'll start winning more games because you'll have less competition and the people you'll be versing will be newer to the tournament scene, but you will have been around for a couple of years. And then you'll start seeing those tournament results coming, they'll start flowing through. So yeah, I just wanted to sort of share that with you guys, see what you guys think. Like, this is just a thought that literally just sprung into my mind on the drive to work, and I thought I'd record a quick episode talking about it. But I'd love to continue this conversation with you down in the comments below and see if you think there's any merit to it or if you think I'm just being crazy. So let's get a conversation going down below. As always, thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Alrighty guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, all that good shit. Leave a comment, join the Discord, join the Patreon, pick up some merchandise, head over to blogforthebloodgod.com if you want more information, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.
The Warhammer community suffers from some of the most prohibitively expensive essentials in the world, especially Australian content creators. Every single day, Dean wants to create content, but he can't. Suffering from old, worn-out brushes, expensive model kits, and costly software and equipment he can't endure much longer. Just look at this dirty paint water. Would you drink this? Would you let your child? Even a small monthly donation can help provide Dean with clean paint water, basic tools for survival, and access to life-saving information and education. So please, follow the links in the description below and find out how you can sponsor a mad cunt like Dean today and end the suffering. Suffering that is cruel